Hey folks, hope you're having a great day. Third video that I'm doing since my book has been published, and what I've been doing is giving an overview of the book. So the first the FaceTime video I did was really just an overview of what's in the book, Sitting with God, A Journey to Your True Self Through Centering Prayer. The second video I did talked about chapter 1, and now just for a few minutes I want to talk about chapter 2, The Real Work of Centering Prayer. What will you find in this chapter? What are some key topics or themes that I will discuss? Um, Obviously, we'll talk about what are the centering prayer guidelines. How do you practice centering prayer? Talk about trusting the silence, just sitting with God and trusting God, trusting the process. I like to think of silence as God's classroom, and that's really why I come to it every day, is to let God teach me what I need to do, even just for that very day. And silence is also really just an invitation to rest, to be loved by God, to be healed by God. Because I believe during centering prayer, God prays in us, and God prays in us actions we might need to take the rest of the day, where God gives us what we might need the rest of the day, whether it's wisdom or love or peace or compassion or more of an inner calmness. So those are some of the themes that I talk about in chapter 2. And then at the end, I have some questions for reflection and discussion that I thought I would share here and answer for myself and just share them. How do I answer these questions? So the first question is, when is the best time for you to practice silence? For me, it's twice a day, and it's the first thing I do as I begin my day. It's really kind of a reset and restart button for me. It gets me started. It's God and I partnering. So I sit with God so I can walk with God the rest of the day. So for me, that's the way I start each day before I begin my work day, and on the weekends when I wake up before I begin my Saturday or Sunday. Where can you practice centering prayer? And how can you carve out time during your day for 1 or 2 sits per day? Where can you practice it? I would suggest that you find kind of a private room. So for me, we have a guest room that I practice actually centering prayer both times. First thing in the day, and then right before lunch. And I like to eat a late lunch, so it's probably closer to 1, sometimes even 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I practice centering prayer, and that's what works for me. And I would suggest that you let the ebbs and flows of your life best dictate when is best for you. But I'll highly suggest that you do a second sit, because the second sit is another reset and recharge button for me. So I begin my day with a silent sit, and then I begin my work day if it's a work day. And then I find I need that second sit, and I take my second sit before lunch. And I'm always amazed how productive the rest of the day goes because of the second sit. The second sit seems to recharge me, reset me, give me wisdom for tasks to complete the rest of the day. So how can you carve out time during your day for 1 or 2 sits? You really need to discipline yourself. I need these sits, and centering prayer has a way of giving me back time and making me more productive. So I continue to take these sits first thing in the morning and then right before lunch. Does silence scare you? What kinds of thoughts and emotions come up while you sit in silence? Silence doesn't scare me, but I know it does. It can scare people, and the idea of sitting in silence can be hard and difficult, and it was the first time I began practicing. And then what kinds of thoughts and emotions can come up? Anything can come up that you don't want to deal with, and even repressed thoughts come up during centering prayer. But centering prayer really is a safe place to do this. You're sitting with God, resting with God, and it's a safe place to let these thoughts come out and to let these repressed thoughts come to the surface and hopefully gently let them go and continue to sit with God and open to the presence and actions of God within. And then the last question, how does just being with God in silence help you to just be with life? For me, it just helps me in my everyday actions. It shows me what I need to do, and it shows me what I don't need to do, and maybe where no action is needed. It just helps me better be with life and life's ebbs and flows, so I can find myself less reactive and stopping myself from taking a reaction that maybe I'll later regret. So the being with God helps me being with life in general and how I live and the actions I take, or sometimes the non-actions I take, which are better as well. So silence truly teaches me what I need to do, and it teaches me how I need to react to life. And sometimes the reaction is no action is needed, or somebody else is better suited for the action. So that's just a little summary of Chapter 2, The Real Work of Centering Prayer, some of the key themes and topics discussed in it. And then I thought it would be fun if I answered the questions for reflection and discussion at the end of the chapter. So for all those that have purchased the book, thank you very much. For all those that have placed reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, thank you very much. And as you're reading the book, or even before you read the book, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or on my contact form of my website. I'd be happy to take your questions or comments. I read them all and respond to them all. So thanks again, everybody. Much love to you all, and I hope you have a great rest of the day wherever you are.